Yeah, probably one of the hardest losses I've had. 33 years of coaching. I'm not saying it's the hardest, but it's right up there with how you feel. You know, you got a good opponent coming in. You know, they're 3-0. You know, they just beat a Big Ten team. You know, they got tons of talent on both sides of the ball. You know, they're dangerous on offense, run and pass. Defensively, they're creating tons of turnovers. And, you know, they struggled their first game, but after the first game, they really played. So we got a bye week. They got a bye week. We come in. We have good practices. We talked for 2 weeks about we got to get, you know, we got to have a fast start on both sides. Like, we got to come out and play. We haven't played Miami football yet, and we still haven't played Miami football. But we got to play closer to Miami football. Like, we got to start to. It's got to start to look like what we want it to look like. Then you come out and, you know, basically first half, besides one play, couldn't have been better. We're rolling on offense. We're making big plays. We're moving the ball on the ground. We're moving the ball via the air. We're throwing, we're catching, we're blocking. We're aggressive offensively. Defensively, we're getting stops against a really potent offense and getting off the field and forcing punts. And we get a huge interception to set up our first score. We take advantage of the interception. We score the first play after the interception. And we make one bad decision. You know, DQ had a good quarter and a half, but his last play can't try to do too much there, you know, trying to make something out of nothing on a scramble, and we're up 14-3 at the time. Just throw the ball out of bounds, or for him just run because he's so dangerous running. So tries to make a play, ends up going horribly bad. Obviously, interception for a touchdown, and you lose. He lands on his head and you know, head, neck, back area. So anybody saw the play, if you see it, like it was not. You know, everything was a disaster. Pick six, and you lose your starting quarterback all in the same play when you're rolling 14-3. Obviously, that's not good. We continue to play well. We stretch the lead from 14-3, 14-10 to 21-10. Hank comes in, does a great job, hits KP on a big one. Then we get the ball back for the half, and we go on another good drive, and we get three more, and it's like, okay, well, like, could not have played a better first half. Like, this is how Miami plays. You take one play out, you're up 24-3 against a good team, you know. 24-10, second half, you know, starts with the opening half kickoff. We kick the ball out of bounds. Like, it's not Miami football. You don't kick the ball out of bounds. Like, just so many self-inflicted wounds the last 30 minutes. Credit to UNLV. They kept coming back. We had them dead and buried a couple different times, but credit to them and their staff and their players. They kept playing. Their quarterback makes plays, their running back makes plays. You know, they get to 24-17. We miss on third down. We have guys open. We got to pitch and catch on third down. We misfire, and they score again. All of a sudden, it's 24-24. You know, and again, middle of the third quarter, 24-24. You know, we talk to KOR. We crease them for a big one. It's 31-24. 2 plays later, we get a pick six. It's 38-24, and it's like, okay. Next play, they fumble the kickoff. They call it a fumble. They overrule it. If they don't overrule that call, ball game's probably over. You know, we're going up 3 scores. Like, even like the amount of – so they continue to drive the ball. We went from playing really, really, really good defense against a really potent offense in the first half to they got going offensively, and we got back on our heels, and we never – besides the one deflected ball, we never stopped them in the second half. It was tale of two halves. I was so proud of our defense first half because I know how lethal UNLV's offense is, and we played our tails off in the first half, and then they got going in the second half. We just couldn't get stopped. So they got to 38-31. We missed Q on offense on our second drive. We have our second drive as start of the fourth quarter, you know, just the way the game played out. Like, and then they score again, and we're tied, but I look up, there's 6:50. We know we can move the ball on. We've moved the ball on them all day. We know we can run on them. We know we can throw on them. We just said, hey, guys, we're not only going to drive down and score, we're going to use the rest of the clock. Like, that was a plan. We're not trying to get down there in a hurry. We knew their offense was rolling, and our defense was a little bit back on their heels at that point, so we knew we still felt great offensively. Even the 2 drives, we had 2 drives up to that point in the second half. We're getting the ball for our last drive of the game, and this is going to be our third possession second half. But we knew we could. Like, we had tons of confidence on offense. We had misfired on an open guy. Okay, that's on us. And then we had two blunders on the next series that were on us. That had nothing to do with them. One, we had a mischeck. One, we had a missed block, and not physically missed block. We blocked the wrong guy, or we would have. come back in the third series, and we just go back. We never really deviate from our plan. Even we ran the same plays we ran on the second drive where I was like, well, you ran the ball 3 times, got stuffed. I go, well, we stuffed ourselves. We didn't get stuffed. That was on us. The third drive, we did the same thing, and Kenny's gashing them, just like it was the whole game. And we hit a screen pass, and we're running the ball, and we're using, we're taking our time. Clock's running down, like, then we crease them again, and we're going to have first and goal on the 15 with 2 minutes to go in the game. Now you're 1 first down, and we're kicking the last second field goal away, or we're probably going to score because they can't stop us, and then we're up 7 with, a minute left in the game, and you're in the driver's seat. Obviously, bad football, we don't have ball security, and we fumble the football. Great play, we get a 20-some yard run down to the 15, all for naught because we don't secure the football, and that's on me as the head coach. That's not, I don't blame players. Like, the fundamentals of the game, you got to get your kids to fundamentally play the game the right way, and we're not. The mistakes we made were fundamental mistakes. They were critical mistakes, and we got to continue to coach better. We got to continue to drill better in every part of practice, from individual to group to team. We have to, and not that we weren't up to this point, but we're not there yet. We're not playing clean football. Like, our 2 turnovers, you lose by 3, there's 14 points. They're disaster plays. And again, they're both avoidable. They're both easy. If you just take the 2 turnovers away, the narrative's different. We have a great win against a great opponent who's off to a great start, who's really, really talented, and it would be a hard-fought victory. You lose your starting quarterback, you still should win the game. We put ourselves in position to still win the game. We lost our starting center right after we lost our starting quarterback in the next drive. We lost our starting center. We lost our best corner. We lost one of our 2 starting defensive tackles. And for me, if we play Miami football and just fundamentally sound, we still come up. The narrative is like, you lose your quarterback and your center in the first half, and you still beat a really good team. Like, it's an awesome springboard of things to come. But in actuality, your fundamentals got you beat, so we're still at ground zero. We're still 0-3. It's not, the narrative isn't what a great victory there is, what a gut-wrenching loss in a game where you did so many good things against a quality opponent. You knew every play you had to be on your business, or they're going to make you pay. When we're on our business, we made them pay. We showed ourselves like how good we can be on defense in the first half, on offense really the whole game. When we execute, we have 7.8 yards of play against a quality opponent. So, like I said, one of my hardest, it was tough. There's a game that getting beat's always hard, but you go to Wisconsin, you can't get first down. Okay, we got sand kicked our face on offense. It is what it is. We go to Rutgers, we couldn't stop them. All right, couldn't stop them. All right, we did some good things on offense. Both winnable games, both disappointing. This one, quality opponent, same type of opponent. We did more than good enough things on offense to win a game. We did more than good enough things on special teams to win a game. We did more than good enough things on defense to win a game. The problem is, when we were bad, we were really bad. And kicking ball out of bounds, dropping snaps, punting the ball for 12 yards, those are catastrophic. Those are now 103-yard kickoff returns. That's fantastic. So it's like even within the unit, same thing defensively. Taylor too. Look at the first half. They didn't do anything. They ran the same stuff they ran. They didn't make some big adjustment. Just we were on our business. Second half, we have a lead, and we took our foot a little bit off the gas, and they got some momentum, and then we never got it back. Offensively, they never could stop us. We had 3 drives in the second half. We missed. We have 3rd and 1, and we have 2 guys open, and we misfire. You got to hit the ball. You got to pitch and catch. Nope. Second drive, we have 2 miscues on first and second down, or we're gonna move the ball on. We get to 3rd and 10. All right. Then third drive, we go right down the field and fumble. So credit to them, they stripped us. Credit to us that we don't have the ball secure. If we have the ball secured, we win the game. So never stops at all, but we stopped ourselves. So we showed it, and it's easy to tape this week offensively. Hey, here's the vast majority of plays. We have 7.8 yards played. Most plays are in our favor, but the pick six and the fumbles and not blocking the right guy or not getting us the right check or not hitting a slant, these are plays that have to be made if you're going to beat a quality opponent. So still frustrated, still excited. I'm not down. I love our kids. We got to continue to be fundamentally sound, which we're not yet. We are in spurts, but you got to be fundamentally. You're going to beat UNLV with their talent. You're going to have to be fundamentally sound for 60 minutes. When we were, we showed we could play with good people. When we weren't, it was big plays that cost us a game. So we got to learn that lesson.
All right, look, go ahead. You mentioned just the 4 big injuries. Do you have timetables yet on really any of those guys?
No. I would say as of Monday morning, doubtful for this week. We're not ruling anyone out yet because we're hopeful that things turn around quickly. But as of this moment, I would say they're all doubtful for this week. That would be 100% honest.
And then just kind of on the other side of that, how important then is this week for you guys now? Almost if some of those guys don't play, starting in sort of a similar spot you were in week 1, where you've got a lot of new pieces in and just trying to figure all that out.
Yeah. Yeah. Our backup center played 2.5 quarters, so he's been out there. Hank's played a ton at quarterback, so obviously you don't want to lose your starting center quarterback. That's not, it's not, but I'm good there. We've played a lot of corners. If Caleb can't go, we've played other guys that have got games, so it's not like it'll be a new guy and we rotate, So it won't be like week 1. You'll miss your best players at those positions, but we'll have guys that have played in games that should be able to go and play good football. Yeah.
What was different for you guys from just a rushing standpoint that allowed you to kind of have that push in this game?
Again, just everybody doing their job. Like first week we were helter-skelter. We didn't give ourselves a chance up front. Second week was better. Wasn't great, but it was certainly better. Then you have 2 weeks to just keep working fundamentally. Fundamentally, we were a lot better. If you look at we ran the ball, and we were fundamentally good up front, which we're not near consistent enough. We went from 0 at Wisconsin, just all over the map fundamentals, to, okay, there was, in a week we improved, and it showed against Rutgers. We pass pro'd better, we ran block better against Rutgers, all right? This week was way better. Well, we had 2 more weeks with a group and the young guys, and they learned, like, demoralized at Wisconsin, but there was some positives at Rutgers. There's enough positives at Rutgers. They say, okay, this is what it looks like when it's good, this is what. So then it's like, okay, now we got 2 weeks. And now it's really, now you just got to get consistent, because we really showed this week when you did it right, we can block them. Like, we were doubtful at Wisconsin. We came in and dipped our toe in the water at Wisconsin, and freight train was coming down the tracks, and we're dipping our toe in the water. Rutgers, we kind of joined the fray and figured out, yeah, we're capable. It wasn't just that Wisconsin's good up front, and they are. It was, some of it was on us too. Then this week it was like, hey, almost every play we did, what we were capable of doing, and we're aggressive and had pad level, had good footwork. We were moving bodies, and that's what's so frustrating. But like at 6:55 when they scored, I was like, yeah. I was just hoping. At that point, I kind of thought they were going to score because we hadn't stopped them. But I was just kind of hoping we bled it a little longer. I was hoping it'd be 4 minutes because I knew we could score. So I was thinking, but I thought 6:55. We can probably grind this out. Like, we can probably, if we take our time, we can probably get most of it off. And then the way it played out was awesome because, they're probably going to let it run to the 2-minute. We were under 2:40 when Kenny fumbles, so they're probably going to let it run to the 2-minute warning. And now you got them. You have them right where they had us at the end of the game, where they're going to run down, kick a field goal, and either make it or miss to win the game. That's, so. But fundamentally, we've been, we're better than we were 4 weeks away. With that young O-line's got a long ways to go still. They know it, but they're heading in the right direction for sure. And a lot of pieces on offense are like, if you just watched, from a coach's standpoint, what we put on tape against Wisconsin, from all 11 guys to what we put on tape yesterday, they're just it's gone from like 10-90 against us to probably your 75-25 for us against a talented UNLV team. And it's like, we're executing, our time in our passing game's getting better, our decision making getting better, but then we just have those blips, The second drive, second half, we should have been right down the field. The first 2 plays, we should have been rolling. We ran the same 2 plays in the third drive for 15, 20-yard gains. Like, we didn't change it, because somebody said, well, you ran the ball 3 times. The first 2 we got checked. They were checked runs. They checked them to looks that we knew that we've been running against the whole game. We had run against them in the first half and executed, increased them. That drive, we had mental breakdowns. We had our foot off the gas, and we got stuffed, and we had a punt. Well, when you only have 3 possessions in the second half, you can't give away 2 of them. We gave away all 3 of them, So, but they're coming. They're getting better. They're trying, and they're getting some experience, and now they're getting some confidence. The tough thing, like I said, the positive of going Big Ten, a talented UNLV team is there's some confidence issues right now. You don't have anything to help inexperienced young guys, feel better about themselves, because it's every snap. If you don't do it against those people, it's not going to look good, But if you do it, you're learning also that you can do it, But we have some confidence issues with players right now that haven't had a lot of success the last couple of weeks. And how do you get, where if you have a Like, UNLV's off to a good start, but they didn't play great against Idaho State, but because of talent difference, they still end up winning the game. So they don't have the demoralized defeat. Then week 2, they play Sam Houston, and they blow them out. Sam Houston had some late points to make it look like it was like Sam Houston got all their offense done against their backups, and they it was a blowout. Like, so then again, you feel good. Like, then you go week 3, you go into week 3, and you're 2-0, and you're feeling you just had a blowout, and you cleaned up a lot of mistakes from week 1, and now you have a huge win. Now your confidence is sky high, and that's the other avenue. We don't ever take that tunnel. We take the tunnel of it's Shawshank, and we're going to climb through 200 miles or 200 yards of manure to get. So, but again, from my standpoint, that's life. Like, I'm looking at my guys yesterday. There's a lot of beat up, downtrodden faces, And then again, the other negative to how we attack it coming out of the chute is, we kept saying we were healthy last week. We weren't healthy last week. We were a beat up football team last week. Because we don't have season-ending injuries, people think you're healthy. Like, oh, we came out of it great. I don't know how many times somebody asked me that question. It drives me nuts. I just go, yeah, we're great. No, we didn't have guys practice for a week and a half. We had some guys practice. We had 2 weeks worth of practice. We had some guys practice 1 or 2 days that are starters. No, we're not good. They weren't even played if we didn't have the bye week. We're not promoting that, the whole idea, like, the injury. No, we're beat. You see our training room yesterday, it's not only 4 guys left the game that are starters that, we get tons of other guys that the list goes on and on of, like, we're not going to go through all of them and divulge anything. We're never going to divulge anything about injury, but there's a lot of other guys that may or may not play this week. Well, how's it look? Hey, this looks great. Everybody's like, healthy. Okay, yeah, no, we're not healthy. We just went Big Ten UNLV. We are beat to crap. We have guys out, and we have other guys that, we'll have a lot of guys not practicing tomorrow that we're hopeful to play Saturday. Very hopeful to play Saturday, but they won't. They may not practice Wednesday, and that's not good when you're young and experienced. We need that practice time. We need to continue. So,
you hit a couple big pass plays against Rutgers, and you obviously have the pick 6 and the kick return touchdown this week. Just how do you view some of those sort of game-shifting plays as an identity for this team?
Yeah, that's what you got to have. Big plays. The problem is the big plays the other way. Like, first week we got no big plays, but second and third week we're getting big plays on offense. We had big plays on offense this week. We had tons of plays over 15 yards. That's how you average 7.8 yards a play. Like, we almost averaged a big play for the game. So we got tons of chunk plays on offense. Then you get a pick 6. You get another pick that sets up. It wasn't a pick 6, but did most of the work. We scored on one play, but Andre got it down there, and we're at least in field goal range by the time. If we didn't do anything, we just kick a field goal if we can hold on the ball, And then we've had explosive runs now. All right, we had explosive pass against Rutgers, we had explosive run, and now you get explosives on the kickoff, and that's what makes this loss so hard because you're building all the things that you have to do to win games. We did them all against UNLV, but the things you have to do to not lose games, we unfortunately did them too. You know what I mean? So, and credit to UNLV, they're really talented. Like when you're not in your business, that quarterback can hurt you 10,000 different ways. Like the receivers, that running back obviously ran through a number of Miami players. So we knew how, but we also stopped them cold turkey in the first. We can't stop them. We know we did for a half. We held them to 3 points first half. And we had a pick that set up a score. Our defense really, almost negated anything they'd done. So. We're getting the explosives. Now, we can't turn the ball over. We can't have the major mistakes in key situations on defense. We can't have the fumble and the pick 6 on offense. That's, the pick in the Rutgers game's game-changing play, So, a lot of positives, but I would say our ceiling is we're starting to show what our ceiling could be and what our ceiling is in portions game, but the floor, and I've been saying this since spring ball, our floor is way too low. When it goes bad, that's Saturday's game in a nutshell. We've been talking about forever, and we gotta continue to coach to clean all those things up. And in this case, we're capable of doing. We can get it. We can get it corrected. We have to get it corrected.
Because you've been around here a while, 0-3 start. You've seen lots of teams rebound from the slow starts, but the roster's a lot different this year.
Yeah.
Can you even explain it to so many kids that have just been here a little bit? Of if you do the right things, you can still accomplish a lot of the goals.
Yeah, usually we just haven't had this many new guys playing, so they haven't lived. Like usually we have guys that have lived through the slow start. So when I'm telling them like, hey, we just keep plugging away. Like here's the positives. There's more positives. There's more positives week 2 than week 1. There was way more positives week 3. There's unfortunately, a giant step forward, and we just got a loss out of it. But it was a giant step forward. There was so many good things we did in that game. And then, okay, so why do we not win? The win is the these are things we can eliminate with ball security. We can eliminate with decisions and not trying to do too much. We can eliminate with eye control and technique on both sides of the ball. Plays that didn't go good Saturday, a lot to do just with us not running our stuff the way we know we're supposed to run our stuff and getting off, whether it's defense losing a little confidence second half and then getting off the reservation, whether it's offense just having some mental breakdowns on a play here, play there that cost us, So I don't know. Like, I've been concerned with this since spring. I know our schedule and I know how things go. And in the past, I've never worried because I've known my kids. Like, you guys be all right. We're gonna keep pushing that rock up the hill, and we're gonna get up that hill eventually, whatever it takes. And we're never. I don't care 0-3, 0-8. We're gonna keep. But this is a different group. I don't know. A lot of these kids I've known for, 8 months or 3 months. Like the kids, the freshmen that come this summer, I'm still getting to know them. And are they going to believe that, it's not last year's team, it's not the year before. So I said it's amazing what we've done. I'm not really sure how we've done it, how you start off, and because it's not a fun Sunday. You're 0-3, it's not a fun Sunday, and no one thinks you're good, and fans are already giving up on the season. Well, they're not. They don't care who you play. No one cares who you play. No one. You're 3-0, and Illinois is ranked 9th, and doesn't matter who you play. Just win games. And that's so no one. I mean, they may complain. Oh, we haven't played anyone, but at the end of the year, you're 10-2. Everybody's just happy, and you're in the college football playoff, and life's good. Like, it's not. They remember a bad opponent for 1 week. That next week they forget. It's, my team's 4-0. So. Just can we get this group to keep believing, to keep focusing on the details that cause winning and cause losing, because that's what it is. When you do it this way, it causes winning. When you do it this way, it causes losing. And there's no in between. There's no shortcuts. There's no quicks. There's no, we're going to change this. We're going to change that. I said, like, kickoff returns a microcosm of who we are right now. They kick it off once. We don't block anybody. We get our bodies in position, and then we give ground, we're back on our heels, we're trying to block people going backwards. And they're pouring through, and they wax our first 2 kickoffs, they wax Keith on the 15-yard line. It's a debacle. They don't change their personnel, we don't change our personnel. They don't change their scheme, we don't change our scheme. We did have a nice talk to our kickoff return team about, like, let's get back in position. Let's not get back on our heels and give ground. Let's do it like it's coached. Let's dig our cleats to the ground. They're running full speed, you're not. It's not a fun job. And let's go put force on them and see what happens. Everybody go put force on their guy. Everybody's catching. You're doing it right, and then we're not fit. Then the third kickoff, we drop back, and everybody gets their cleats and grass. Everybody gets their feet on the ground, and then we put force. And Keith goes 102 yards untouched. Like, it was one of the easiest kickoff returns, not taking anything away from Keith because he's really fast. But he didn't even make a cut. He went up, and he slid to his right and ran straight for 103 yards. And again, the lesson is what was different? Everybody wants that. Everybody wants that. Well, we made this adjustment. No, there's no adjustment. The adjustment was your technique. The adjustment was how much force will you want to put on a guy running full speed. It's not much fun. This guy's running full speed. You got to drop back, set your feet, and try to go get a guy running full speed. It's most people would never do that in their life. Like, it's not. No one plays Red Rover anymore. Like, it used to be a game where you ran full speed and you try to stop somebody. It was the dumbest game in the history of gym class. Like this is ridiculous. Like that's what frontline. But we did the exact same scheme against the exact same scheme with the exact same people. And what looks horrible on our 15 turns in. And that's what these kids understand. You understand the margin is? How'd it go from debacle to a home run? We just did your job with more intensity and more physicality and better body position. And you dug in. You didn't catch. You weren't giving ground. You were taking the aggressor to them, right? And maybe they took their foot off the gas because they had guy who just, they've run down, just ran through us like we weren't there for 2 kickoffs. So maybe they think, that's their lesson right now. They probably did take their foot off their gas a little bit because they thought we weren't very good. And next thing you know, we're a little better because we're stepping on the gas harder and it goes big, And that's where we're at. And again, the frustrating thing is just like, first down the 15, you win the game, and it's just like, man, we fought through so many things, and they came back, and we came back, and they came back, and we lost our quarterback and our center and our corner, and we just kept coming, and things went bad, and we just kept coming, which we did, but we made the last critical mistake. It wasn't like we didn't keep coming. Like that narrative, that's what I told kids, the narrative isn't gone in my mind. The narrative's gone in everybody else's mind, but we did, even in the end, We're going to storm back down the field, 6:55, just blew a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter, and we're going to storm back and win the game. And it's going to be awesome. But we didn't because we are fundamentally unsound. We had the ball here instead of here. And that's the difference between winning and losing, and that's a hard lesson.
I guess it's a little bit ironic that you get through the first couple of weeks against Big Ten teams relatively healthy, and then
Yeah,
all
that's
of a sudden,
just your narrative, not mine. We were not healthy. We were not healthy going in this game.
well,
When you don't have starters practicing for 2 weeks, you're not healthy. You need to practice. Like, we had guys that didn't practice on Thursday that were game time decisions. Like, do we have guys that left the game? No. So then but no, we've been beat up. And part of the reason, some of the injuries are cumulative. Like, some of the things that go bad are based on. So, but yes, go ahead. We love to talk about injuries. It's the stupidest thing in the world to ever ask about injury or talk about injury, because you really have no idea what's going on, and we're never going to tell you, no, we're beat to crap. I'm not going to tell anybody that, it's not. But the reality is, you play those teams, you're beat to crap. Like, we didn't say that last week. Like, everybody kept asking, I just kept nodding my head. Yeah. We haven't had a season-ending injury, so we're good. Yeah, well, no, we're not good. Dan Colsey didn't practice for 2 weeks. That's not good. And he had like 4 different injuries. So we came out of it good. He had 4 different things. He was like, there's 4 different parts of his body he was getting treatment on. Like, not sure one guy played every snap the first 2 weeks. Like, so, yeah. Next question.
how about special teams? That's kind of a mixed bag. And
Special teams is just like offense and defense. Same story. Like, that's what's so frustrating about, like, the good was great, the bad was horrendous, and the good could have won you the game. It could have been part of the narrative of a great win, like a 105-yard kickoff return, and we did some other good things, but then you shank a punt in the second half when at a time you drop a hold and you kick a ball out of bounds. Start second half, we kick the ball out of bounds, can't do it. Like, and it's every position. It's like, no matter what the question is, I got the same answer. We're getting better, but we're not there. And against those opponents, you got to be there. And we haven't been there against those opponents. But if you kick the ball out of bounds, what's that have to do with the opponent, right? If you don't have the ball security, who do we play on our schedule that's not trying to strip a football nowadays, right? Like, that's like, if you're running to your right and you throw a hook shot down the middle of the field, if you're supposed to block the guy in the A gap and you decide not to block the guy in the A gap, like, it doesn't matter. Like, our mistakes are critical, and they're on us, and they're fundamental, and they're from immaturity, inexperience, lack of mental toughness. I don't know what it is. It's all those things. Like, why can't you just keep blocking the A gap if you're supposed to block the A gap? You did it 13 snaps in a row, then the 14th snap you didn't block the A gap. Like, I don't get it. Like, but that's what we do, and then then bam, then we get hit in the backfield, and then we're playing a great game, but then we make one big mistake. Like, DQ playing great. Like, he had one bad play. Unfortunately, it cost him. He got hurt on the play, so he didn't get to keep playing like Rutgers. He kept playing afterwards, but he was rolling. He was feeling good. He was confident. He was making plays, run, throw. Like, we're in a great place, Then all of a sudden, pick 6 and lose your quarterback. Like, but again, then we go right down the score. Like, we didn't blink. Like, there's so many things I'm proud of our guys about, but again, when you lose, you just can't it's not positive. It's not like I want everybody to write a great story about a loss. We're 0-3. Like, it's about winning. And we had a chance to win a game against a really good team. If you have a chance to win a game against a bad team, but like, that would have been a great win. UNLV's a good team that came in, and every time we weren't where we were supposed to be, their explosiveness showed, and they could make plays in a hurry. And like, that's what, like, we had one right there for the taking, and we didn't take it. And again, it was self-inflicted. It was not, they executed better, but there's so many mistakes we made. Like, dropping a snap, UNLV had nothing to do with dropping the last snap. Even that, like, we weren't done. Like, we knew they were going to squib it. Like, we're just like, get as much yards as you can, and then we don't have to throw Big Ben. Because I knew Kellen can kick it from 62 probably with that wind. Like, can he make a 58 yards? It's a long way to keep it straight. But if Kellen hits it right, it's getting there. There's no problem with distance there. Now, 58 yards and, we dropped snap. Like, it was kind of a great way to end the game. It's like, there we are. Another self-inflicted wound. We don't even have a chance to Kellen to get this thing in overtime. And, but we did good job on kickoff return. We got out, and then we did a hell of a job on the Big Ben play. And right as game's over, I said, no, it's not. We got a chance, and we got a guy that can kick it this far, You know, especially with there wasn't a big breeze, but it was at his back. There's no, like I said, he can kick from no breeze. He can kick from 60. If he hits it right, he gets there every time. You know, he's got that flag. You know, so it was 58 with a small breeze, but again, small breeze is very helpful on a long kick. You know. So I'm like, hey, if he, like, can he make it? I'm like, heck yeah, he can make it. It would be a tremendous kick to under pressure and make it from 58 down the middle. But as far as leg strength, he has that leg, so it's going to get there if he hits it right. He's going to get the ball's going to be there through the uprights or not, and we drop the snap. So definitely a mixed bag, but the mixed bag has to be like this. You know what I mean? When we become a good football team, our ceiling, these are all these explosives and all these good things, you know, that we do, we got to keep doing them, right? But the floor's got to get to here, and that's on us as coaches, and that's on everybody in the organization. Keep plugging away hard to just keep being more consistent, fundamentally sound on every snap.